Welcome to Lingua Latina Tutorials with Mr. K, Pensvm D. This video explains the new grammar and syntax found in Chapter 40 of the Lingua Latina series. This is meant to accompany the Latina Disco text available from Focus Bookstore and the Pensvm D worksheets available from 50%latin.blogspot.com or christianlanguage.com. Let's get into the text and look at our new features. In line 7, I guess we'll start here with prima luca. Prima luce, annam sororem sic alloquitur, anna soror, quales hospes tectis nostris successit, quam nobilis, quam fortis, equidem non dubito, quin Dea natus sit, heu quam ille fatis iactatus est, quae belle exhausta narrabat. So at first light, she speaks to her sister Anna in this way. This is Dido talking. Anna, my sister, what sort of a guest has come into our home, under our roof, How noble, how brave. Indeed, I don't doubt that in fact he was born of a goddess. Alas, how that guy was tossed about by the fates. What wars under his belt he was telling about. So here we have, at the beginning of these sentences, qualis, we have quam, and we have quae. And notice how these are all part of exclamations. They're several different parts of speech. Qualis, an adjective. What sort of a guest? Quam, an adverb. How brave. And quae, a relative pronoun. What wars. But they all can introduce exclamations rather than questions or relative clauses. The next new feature is in line 8. It's part of this clause where we have equidem non dubito quin Dea natus sit. Notice our subjunctive here of sum, sit. So indeed, I don't doubt that queen, in fact, he was born of a goddess. If you have a non dubito clause, a negative doubt clause, I don't doubt, you can have queen with it that acts like an ut clause. I don't doubt that in fact that he was born of a goddess. You can translate it. Queen is normally means something like in fact, but here you can translate it as an ut. Indeed, I do not doubt that he was born of a goddess. The next new feature is in line 29 and 30. Let's go ahead there. So here we have quanta erit potentia poenorum, quanta gloria tua, soror, sicum duce Trojanorum te conjuncseris. So what will be the power, or how great will be the power of the Phoenicians? How great will be your glory, sister, if you should join yourself in marriage with the leader of the Trojans. So here we have more examples of exclamations beginning with qua words, Q-U words. In this case, we have the adjective quantus aum, how great, and or so great, or how great. So here it's so your power will be so great, or the power of the Phoenicians will be so great. Your glory will be so great, sister, if you join yourself in marriage. The next new feature is in line 36. And here we have, we'll start up a little above we'll start with multas hostias. Multas hostias cereri, poebi, liberoque immolant, et ante omnes iunoni, cui conjugia curae sunt. So they they sacrifice, imolant, they sacrifice many victims, or many animals, sacrificial animals, to Ceres, many to Phoebus Apollo, and many to Dionysus. And before all of them, and so meaning like more than the others, and more than all of them, before all, they sacrifice to Juno, to whom marriages are for a concern, literally. So so marriages are for a concern for her, kui. This is called the double dative, for a concern for her, kurai kui. The first dative here is a dative of reference. It tells you with reference to whom. So for her. And kurai is a dative of purpose. It is for a concern. That's she's concerned for this thing. It's a concern for her. We would just translate this as marriages. She's concerned about marriages. So, and they sacrifice to Juno, who cares about marriages, but literally to whom marriages are for a concern. The next new feature is in line 47. So here we have, we'll start from the beginning line here with Aeneas. Aeneas autem unacum didone venatomi reparat. But Ananias prepares to go hunting, or prepares to go for a hunt, together with Dido. And here we have venatum, which is our first supine from the deponent verb venari, to hunt. So he prepares to go. Remember that our supine, first supine, always goes with a verb of motion. So here we have the verb ira, to go. He prepares to go to hunt, together with Dido. And remember that venatum, the supine shows purpose, so he's preparing to go for the purpose of hunting, together with Dido. The next new feature is in line 50. And here we have, postquam in altos montes ventum est, caprae ferae de saxis desiliunt, et cervi campos et vales cursu petunt. So after they came into the high mountains, or into the tall mountains, literally after there was an arrival, or after there was a coming into the tall mountains, the wild mountain goats jumped down from the rocks, and the deer headed for the fields and the valleys in their flight, or in their course. So here we have the new feature is ventum est. Ventum est is our perfect passive from venira. Venira means to come. Venisse means to have come. Notice that to come is not a transitive verb, right? There's no object. You don't come with an accusative object. So it's intransitive. It doesn't transfer its action to an object. So the third principal part, ventum esse, is, since it's implying an object, it doesn't seem to work in English. So venira, to come, venisse, to have come, ventum esse would be to have been comed by someone, or by something. But since you can't have an object, since it's intransitive, you would think that it wouldn't exist. There would be no third principal part. But with these intransitive verbs, the third principal part can be used impersonally, as we have here. So rather than he was comed by something, you get a impersonal passive. There was a coming, or there wasn't, and we would just translate after they came. But just notice that this is literally after there was a coming, or after there was an arrival in the high mountains. The deer or the goats started jumping down. So the next new feature is in line 80. here we have, this is Jupiter speaking, and he's talking about Aeneas hanging out in Carthage, and he says, quid struit? What the heck's he doing? Or what is he getting ready to do? Aut qua spe ingente inimica moratur, navigat. Navigat here is the jussive subjunctive from navigara, to sail. Let him sail, or he better set sail. This is, remember that when you have a subjunctive all by itself and no indicators of the subjunctive marker, it's most often going to be just a jussive. Let him do it. The next new feature is in line 108. Heading down to 108. And here we have Queen etiam hiberno tempora classem ornas et per medios aquilones navigara properas. Literally, and in fact, you're even getting your fleet ready in the middle of winter. And in the middle of the north winds, you are hurrying out to sail. Queen etiam, queen, when meaning in fact, when you have etiam after it, is just adding, here is just adding emphasis. So you could, if you got rid of it, you're even getting your ships ready in the middle of winter. And here is just expressing the outrage she feels. Are you in fact, you're really going to get ready, your ships ready? You're even getting your ships ready in the middle of winter to do this? You're crazy. Line 112 has another feature. We'll have to start here with siquid. Siquid benedete merui, aut si tibi dulce fuit quidquam meum, miserere mei, et muta istamentem. So, if I've deserved anything, if I've deserved anything well from you, or if I've deserved good from you, here after C, remember, after C, nisi, numende, all the alis go away. So this is really aliquid. So if I've deserved something good from you, or if it has been, if anything of mine has been sweet to you, miserere mei, have pity on me, and change that mind of yours. Miserere, notice in the margin, comes from miserere, to pity, to have, to care about something or someone, to pity someone, alicuius, is the same as miserari aliquem, to pity someone in the accusative. So notice that miserere takes the genitive case. To pity, and then so mei is the genitive from ego. Have mercy on me, or pity me. So other verbs can take the genitive object that we've seen before, like memenisse, to remember. So remember me, to remember me is memenisse mei, and then also to forget, obliwisci mei, to forget me. The next new feature is in line 115, and Dido says, quid moror an dum frater Pygmalion mea moenia destruat, aut iarbas rex Gaetulorum capta me abducat. So she says, why am I delaying? Why delay? Why do I delay? Is it, am I doing it while my brother Pygmalion, or until? Here, dum plus the subjunctive here, destruat, from destruere, means until. And so this is like a proviso clause, while I wait for this thing to happen. So why am I delaying? Is it until my brother Pygmalion destroys my walls, or Iarbas, the king of the Gaetulii, takes me away as a captive? So here those two subjunctives, abducat and abducat and destruat are subjunctive with dum meaning until. No, and you could also see that same thing with dum modo, provided that. In line 119, we have another new feature. Let's see here with, we'll start with C up here in top of the page. Si saltem infantem de te haberem, si qui parvulus Aeneas in aula mea luderet, qui memoriam tui referet, non omnino deserta viderer. So if at least I had a baby from you, if some little itty bitty Aeneas were playing in my palace, a little Aeneas who could bring back your memory, or the memory of you, I wouldn't seem to be entirely deserted. Memoriam tui, the memory of you. Tui is the genitive of tu, and the memory of you here, that the use of the genitive of tu with memoriam is an objective genitive use, because it acting like the object of memory, to remember you, the memory of you, or for you. Remember that the genitive of tu, tui, and the genitive of ego, mei, they're not used as possessives. You wouldn't say your son, filius tui, right? Instead, you say filius tuus. You'd use the adjective form. The adjective of ego, meiusa is how you say my. The adjective of tuusa is how you say your. And the same thing for nos and vos. You use the adjectives to show possession. So when do you use the genitives? Because they do have genitive forms. This is one instance when you have an objective genitive, the memory of you. Another one is when you have a partitive genitive, part of you. And then the last one is when you have a special verb, like we saw with miserere. To have pity on. So miserere mei, have pity on me. Miserere tui, have pity on, or pity you. The next new feature is in line 124. Here we'll start with numquam. Numquam regina negabo te bene meritam, esse de me, nec me paenetebit tui memenisse, dum memoria mihi est, dum animam duco. So, never, queen, will I deny that you have deserved good from me, nor will it displease me to remember you while I have memory, while there's memory to me, while I breathe, while I lead or take in breath. So here we have, in line 124, paenetebit me. It will please me to remember you. Couple features. One, me acts as the object of paenetebit, and paenetebit is one of those special verbs that take an accusative object and a genitive of the thing that is that you have feelings about. So it will repent me of you is one way to say it. But here, since we have memenisse, to remember, this is a verb that takes a genitive object. So here we have tui, the genitive of ego, to remember you, rather than memenisse tuum, to remember you with an accusative object. The next new feature is in line 150 or 142. Go down there, and here we have putasne eam rem dis superis cura esse. Do you think that matter is of any concern to the gods above? Literally, do you think that matter is for a concern for the immortal gods or for the gods above? Another example of a double dative. Dative of reference, talk about who's concerned, for the gods above, and then dative of purpose, for the purpose of caring. Do you think it's for a concern for the immortal gods? This double dative construction is really common. The next new feature is in 156 to 157. And here we have quo tum dolore dido afficiebatur talia cernens, quos gemetus dabat, cum ex summa arche prospiciens litus et mare turba omenum et nave misceri videret. So then, with what pain Dido was afflicted seeing such things or discerning such things, what groans she gave forth when from the top of her citadel, looking out on the shore and on the sea, she saw it mixed with a crowd of men and of ships. This form of quo and quos, here these are both interrogative pronouns, being like, with what pain was Dido afflicted would be the question. What groans did she give forth would be the question. But here, instead of questions, we get exclamations. So another example of QU words being able to introduce exclamations, not questions. In line 167, we have, we'll start with 166 here, with tum vero in felix dido fatis exterita mortem orat, taidet eam vitae. But then, unlucky Dido begs for death, terrified by the fates. She, literally, I'm going to do this literally, it tires her of life. The way that we would translate it, she's tired of life. She tires of life. Taidet is one of those verbs like we saw before, like paina tabit. Taidet is a verb that takes an accusative object and a genitive of the thing that is causing the emotion. It bores her of life is the same as saying she is bored with life. The next new feature is in line 197. And there we have, gotta go next page. Here we have morera, or morera, queen morera ut merita es feroque averte dolorem. So she says, queen here, emphatic, why not die as you've deserved and turn away your pain with the sword, or literally with the iron. Queen morera, so from mori, to die, this is our imperative form from morera, an imperative deponent. And remember that the imperative deponents look like infinitives. This looks like an infinitive, like to do something, but in fact it is the singular imperative. In fact, die, quite literally. But here in the margin you see when you have the imperative after queen, it just means like go on and do it. Go on and die as you've deserved, and turn away your pain with a sword. The next new feature is in line 257. And we're heading down next page. And on 257 we have, I guess we'll start here with vixi. Vixi et quem dederat cursum fortuna peregi, et nunc magna me sub terra sibit imago. So, I have won. I have lived. Sorry, this is not wiki. I have lived, and the course which fortune had given me, I carried it out. And now my great image or my great spirit will go under the earth. Here we have mei, the genitive from ego, of me, and it is acting as an objective genitive here with imago. The image of me will go under the earth. In line 281, let's go down here to 281, we have inter eos ludos feminae Trojanae cum eas longi errores taederet, naves incenderunt sub imbre Iove miso ignis mox restinctus est. So between or in the middle of those games, or in the middle of these games, the Trojan women, since it was, I'm going to be literal here, since it was tiring them of their long journey, or since they were tired of their long journey, they set the ships on fire. But with a rain sent down by Jove, the fire was soon put out. The form of erroris, this genitive from error, with taidet, we saw this earlier, that taidet takes an accusative object, here the accusative is eos, when it was tiring them, the women, of their long journey. And just know that this idiom, to tire something in the accusative of the thing that you're being tired of, is going to be easy to translate into idiomatic English just by saying when they, making eos the subject, when they were tired of their long journey or wandering. The next, one other feature here, we've got, remember that cum, the cum causal since it was tiring them, that's why you have this imperfect subjunctive here. This is a cum causal subjunctive here, taederet. In line 284, we have refectis navibus aeneas plerasque feminas quamquam eas iam facti sui penitebat in Sicilia reliquit atque ipse cum sociis fortissimis cumbas in campaniam profectus est. So when the ships were repaired, Aeneas left behind most of their women, although here we have literally it was already repenting them of their deed. So again we see that this construction of the accusative with the genitive with another verb, painetet. So the verbs taidet, it bores the accusative plus the genitive. It repents, the accusative and the genitive, painetet, and it pudet, it shames the accusative plus the genitive. So we would translate this, although they were already sad about their deed. The next new feature and last one is in line 294. And we have tu regere imperio populos Romane memento. So this is what Aeneas hears in the underworld, a prophecy about how Rome is going to rule the world. And he says, "You, Roman, rule over. Remember to rule over the people with your empire." Memento here is a future imperative from memenisse, to remember. Memento, remember the to ending and the tote ending being the future imperative forms. Tu memento, you remember. A famous saying in Latin, Memento Mori, remember that you will die. This is the end of the new features in chapter 40, so thank you for listening.